Hi, I'm Tracy Eaton and welcome to this week's edition of Face Facts. Now once again, I have an awesome friend with me this week and I'd like to introduce you to Colleen Lording. So Colleen's got a great story to share, and I'd love to share with you a couple of key facial structures for Colleen, and how that maybe works out in her life and her business. So Colleen, can you just explain a little bit of where you're from and what it is that you do?
Sure, absolutely. I'm currently building a business which is about essentially training salespeople, but for B2B, so business to business in the corporate world. So it's being able to sell, if you're involved in a business or a business owner, to another business entity, be it a blue chip, small to medium, anything really, it's all the same process.
So I guess in that business-to-business sales, being able to build a relationship and the certainty and trust that comes from having that connection would be of vital importance.
Oh yes, absolutely. Sales, more than any other tool, I think, requires your ability to know yourself for one, and be able to put yourself in someone else's shoes and understand as much as you can about their needs and wants and fears and so on. So anything that you can utilise to, I guess, put yourself in the shoes of your client will assist you in sales, absolutely.
Okay, fantastic. So bearing that in mind and figuring out starting with yourself is a really good place to begin, let's talk about a couple of facial structures that Colleen has that when she understands that about herself can really make very much an impact in her life and business. So I was talking with you, Colleen, about your wonderful eyes, and if you have a look, Colleen, if I can get you to look over there, Colleen has these amazing eyes that are quite close set together, meaning that there's not much distance between her two eyeballs. And what this is all about is about being emotionally quite intolerant of error, and particularly yourself. The type of people with close set eyes can be very focused, very eagle-eyed, pinpoint focus, want to get results in a very timely manner. And if there's some reason, whether it be through yourself or through other influences that make that that get in the way, then that's really hard to handle, hard to deal with.
Yes.
So how does that show up for you, Colleen?
Look, it really does. I mean, everyone talks about how I throw myself heart and soul into whatever it is that I'm doing, and it can take over, and it's certainly the focus that I have, the ability to drown out the rest of the room and focus on whatever it is that I'm doing to the detriment of other things some of the time. That is absolutely correct. So yeah, I can say 100% right.
And what about being on time?
Ooh, yeah, look, I'll be honest.
Is that important to you though?
It is in the context of business.
Right.
I do my absolute best to be on time every time. Obviously things happen. But look, I mean, socially, I'm not well known for being on time.
But when it really counts, when you're focusing on a result?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
And what if things that shouldn't hold maybe other people, if other people are late or tardy with their results or not focused on what it is that needs to be done to achieve the results, how does that impact you?
Well, I must admit it can get a little frustrating, and I tend to jump in and do it myself. Is that the answer that you're looking for?
Well, no, it's not the answer that I'm looking for, but you know what, it's exactly right. Because when you know that something needs to be done, rather than tolerate anything being late when the result's crucial, you'd rather do it yourself and have the result.
Absolutely, no matter what the cost half the time, so yeah.
Absolutely, that's what happens with the close set eyes. And the other thing that I'd like to share with you is actually about what's called self-reliance. Now this is about making decisions yourself and having the confidence and the reliance on yourself that you're making the right choice to move forward. Now this has everything to do with the width of your nostrils. And if you have a look at Colleen's nose, her nostrils are actually quite thin. Now people with quite thin nostrils, and I can relate to this too, often seek approval from other people so that they can then happily and confidently move forwards and rely that you're going in the right direction.
Yep. I must admit I do seek input from other people when I'm trying to make a decision, just so that ultimately I have a big picture and I have some extra ideas and you know, I guess it's about getting confirmation to an extent. If my heart is absolutely set on it, you know, I know that I'll run with it, but I do like to get everybody's input. I guess, yeah, just making sure the group's okay with what we're doing and so on, yeah.
Absolutely, and that's what happens when somebody has thin nostrils. And actually, just on that, occasionally, have there been times where you haven't gone after what you've really wanted?
Yes, absolutely. It took me too long to start the business that I'm now doing. A lot of years in the corporate world. Thankfully, I was building my skill base so that I'm more qualified to do what I do now. Having said that, I really should have started a long time ago, should have, could have, woulda. Yeah, it would have been nice to have started a long time ago.
And you know what, you've put it just perfectly, and that's perhaps one of the downfalls that people can get stuck in with the thin nostrils. So the word of advice for you is when your heart's really set on it, to trust that that's what you want. If you want, seek a little bit of approval, but ultimately, if you're the one with the responsibility for it, and you know you need to rely on yourself and be resilient with that, then just go for it.
So trust myself.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So knowing this about yourself as well, how can this help you in the future?
Look, because obviously I chatted to you last night about this as well, and when you were talking about my eyes being pressed together, I thought, oh, how bizarre is that? And then when you talked about the fact that, you know, or what that meant, I just related to it instantly. And so for me, that was a real eye-opener. I think if you're able to walk into a room with a bunch of clients and you can read from their faces you know, detail about who they are, then it will definitely assist you in the sales process. So I think it's absolutely fantastic, and I think, you know, definitely a testament to you guys going out and doing this and teaching people about it, because people use that in so many ways, shapes and forms, even in relationships, which is ultimately what sales is anyway. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Sales is relationships. Fantastic.
It is.
Blinding flash of the obvious.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Colleen.
Pleasure. Thank you.
So there you have it. Go looking for those close-set eyes, people, and have a look at the nostrils as well. And until next week, enjoy. Bye for now.
All right.